two officers from the Colorado Springs Police Department just stopped by and talked to me about my letters because apparently the mayor of Delaware, which I didn't know Delaware had a mayor. It must have been like Dover or something. I don't know which mayor from Delaware I contacted because I didn't know they had very big cities in Delaware. They contacted the police, and what I'll tell you is if you want to contact someone, don't contact the police, contact people in the federal government, because local police apparently don't know what's going on at all. These local police didn't know that I had a court case at all in Colorado Springs. They didn't know anything. They were very confused. They said that I sound crazy because I talked about people following me, and my opinion is that generally the police, if they're following you, you can't see the police that are following you. I know that unless they want to scare you, which is a very, very common, in my experience, it's very common. I don't think it's very common. In reality, in my life, it's very common. It's kind of like when they, the day after this girl told me that there was a raid on a horse ranch and that she'd been interrogated by the feds, I came home from church with my parents and my door upstairs was broken. I think they wanted me to see them. So if they want you to see them, then you'll see them, because sometimes they want to scare you. And so I told him, I said, I don't understand why you're so concerned with me. You should be concerned with Cody Yankee. Why aren't you talking to this guy, Cody? Cody is the guy that, in front of a small child, there was this little boy in the room. He handed me a Glock that was a 40 caliber Glock, and he didn't tell me it was loaded. This was after he told me a story about how he got in trouble for stalking someone with a bag full of guns, a 100-round magazine. He said there was a red dot sight on the gun, and it was like an AK-47 pistol he got in trouble for. And I think he was in Texas. He might have been in Arkansas. And he said that he fled the scene on a motorcycle, and when he came back, the police were there, and that he was going to get his guns taken away. And then he handed me a loaded gun, and he didn't tell me it was loaded. I saw that it was loaded. I was right next to a small child, so I backed away into the kitchen. He was in the hallway, or he was in his bedroom, which the hallway goes to his bedroom. Then there's a kitchen right here. I turned the corner because I didn't want the gun to be unsafe. I took the bullet out of it. I came around the corner to hand him the gun. The child was standing next to me, and then he shot a cap gun. And so, like, in my experience, that is harassment. That is the type of thing that when the police want to see you, that's how they let you see them. I'm guessing this guy's not actually a cop, even though he had a 40 caliber Glock like cops do. I'm guessing he is someone that stalks people that sell drugs in Colorado Springs. And I told her, I said, why don't you talk to Cody Yankee? And she never even asked me the full story, which all I told her is that this guy handed me a loaded gun and then shot a cap gun. And she was like, do you realize that you sound crazy? And the guy with her kept telling me, if you talk to a psychiatrist, they'll tell you that you're wrong. They'll convince you that you're schizophrenic. And he kept telling me, you need to talk to a psychiatrist. How can talking to mayors and governors help you? And what I told him is that mayors and governors can contact people in federal law enforcement. They can confirm my story. I have a list of names on my thing that says, here is a person that told me that was a drug lab that got blown up, basically. This is a name of someone, call him. Because I need people to confirm my story. And they're like, you sound crazy. You need a psychiatrist to convince you that you're crazy. And what I actually need is people to call and confirm my story. And then once you confirm my story, contact the DA in Colorado Springs. Because I'm pretty sure the DA already knows that my story is confirmed. They're faking like they don't know, which for me would be obstruction of justice or something like that. I don't really know the laws. But if they do know that there's a drug lab here that's like, the lady police officer, she told me, there are drug labs everywhere. There aren't drug labs everywhere. Like industrial drug labs that are massive producers, like West Texas. There aren't drug labs everywhere, I promise. Like, yeah, maybe there's a guy that's a meth head in his freaking trailer blowing himself up that has no idea what he's doing, even though there aren't drug labs everywhere like that, and they are producing shitty drugs. But there are very, very few industrial level drug labs. So she said that I sound crazy because of like, why would someone wait in an elevator and tell it like and be like, you're gonna go north? Why would someone sit across me at the bar in Monument and tell me he's from and say to his friend, I'm from Quantico, and then fake like he's drawing a gun? Like, why would he do that? Because she thinks I'm having visual hallucinations. And what I told her is, if you're having visual hallucinations from schizophrenia, then you're not going to get a 4.0 in college. You're not going to be this incredible software developer. You're not going to be that smart, I promise. Because because before the schizophrenia, I was not a good student at all. I was a very average student. If you notice, as an undergrad, I got a 3.0, and suddenly I got smarter after I got schizophrenic. I don't think so. I think that I went to an easier college, and then also the teachers weren't grading me unfairly. I think at Baylor there are some undercover cop teachers there. Anyway, so the point of this video is to tell people, don't call the police, please. I don't want them showing up at my house anymore. I don't want, like, they were very cordial, and it was a fine conversation. But I'd prefer for you to call federal government people or contact your friends about this situation, because the FBI is going to lie, and if we go after enough of them, they're going to have to stop lying.